Hello and welcome to the Going for Glory YouTube channel. I'm your host Niall McKiernan and we have a lot of topics to get into, such as a big signing that was made by the Gunners and announced obviously on their social media this morning, a quick reflection on the 3-1 win last night against Southampton, and some bits of news on a couple of loanees for Arsenal at the moment, including Matteo Guendouzi and Lucas Torreira. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we start off with the news that broke this morning. Martin Odegaard is officially an Arsenal player for 6 months-ish, but he's still an Arsenal player nonetheless. He will wear the number 11 shirt, and he was announced this morning on Arsenal's various social media accounts, and I'm so excited about this signing. Now, looking at his stats from last season, he was actually on loan last season at Real Sociedad, and he was actually 6th in the La Liga for chances created, and I think that's what Arsenal need. They need another creative player. Now, what does this mean for Emile Smith-Rowe? I don't know. That's just a simple answer, really. Now, at minimum, he's going to be a backup for Smith-Rowe because Willian is in that place now, and he just hasn't provided when we needed him to. So, at minimum, he's going to be a backup for Smith-Rowe. If he'll break into the team, I kind of hope he does. But as Mikel Arteta said in his interview last night, he alluded obviously to Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe, he was actually alluding to Smith-Rowe not playing on Saturday in the FA Cup. He said 50 games at his age is impossible, which I agree with. So definitely, at minimum, Martin Odegaard for the 6 months, and hopefully as he'll be an Arsenal player permanently at the end of that time. At minimum, he's going to be a replacement for Smith-Rowe. But other than that, I'm very, very excited about this signing. What do you guys think, Arsenal fans watching this? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll look forward to hearing your thoughts. Now we move on to another big win for the Gunners in the Premier League. They bet Southampton 3-1, which was the perfect response to being knocked out of the FA Cup by the same opponent in the same stand on Saturday. So I'm going to go through some of my player ratings and just some general thoughts I have about the match. So I'll start off this with just saying that when the first goal went in, I was sweating because I thought, here we go again. Another crap Arsenal performance on the way, just because of what happened on Saturday and just the way we reacted after going 1-0 down. It just wasn't good. But I could say that the opposite happened last night, because we actually went 2-1 up before half time, and just two fantastic goals. One from Nicolas Pepe, who I have to say, despite all the criticism that he's gotten this season, has improved the last two games and has really made that left wing role kind of his own in the last couple of games, and it's great to see because he is a quality player, and he is our club record signing at the end of the day, and he needs to show that week in, week out, and I really hope he does, and I hope he gets that chance to show. And the second goal was from Bukayo Saka, who really didn't put many feet wrong last night. It was 2 assists actually from Alexandre Lacazette. So it just kind of goes to show that not all strikers have to score really to make an impact. Now he did score in the second half. We will get into that in a minute. But yeah, no, Bukayo Saka, brilliant finish, brilliant close control as well, just to get past the keeper. And overall a good first half from Arsenal. Now Southampton did stay in the game sort of with some of the chances that they had, but Bernd Leno, I have to say, was absolutely brilliant in keeping us in the game. Now David Luiz at times was bit ropey in defence, but Rob Holding, Cedric and Bellerin even at times certainly kind of were awake to the issues and just some of the problems that he created for us. But overall, great performance from Arsenal. Obviously Lacazette getting his goal as well coming from a fantastic crossfield ball from Cedric to Bukayo Saka, and Saka just crossed it, and it was an empty net situation for Lacazette. Now all three celebrations, which was actually quite touching, were all dedicated to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who has some personal issues at the moment, and I send obviously my thoughts to himself and his family, who are going through a very tough time right now. But I just think that was a lovely touch, and even Mikel Arteta mentioned in his interview afterwards that this was for him, and so it's great to see the club rallying behind their captain when he's going through a difficult time. Now on to the player ratings. We're going to start off with in goals, Bernd Leno. As I said, he kept us in the game at times, so he's going to get an 8 from me. Moving on to Cedric, again a fantastic performance, probably his best performance in an Arsenal jersey as of yet, and I think he's going to be a fantastic backup for Kieran Tierney. I'm not sure if Kieran Tierney is going to be okay for Sunday's game against Man United. So I'm much more confident in Cedric now as a player. So for that, I'm going to give him an 8. Moving on to Rob Holding, again very solid performance at the back, and definitely cleaned up some of David Luiz's errors, and yeah, I can't really fault him. So for that, I'm going to give him a 7. On to David Luiz, as I said, made a lot of errors and just really wasn't awake at times. He did do some good things, I'll admit. He was part of that back line that was quite solid most of the night, but some of the errors he made nearly led to a goal, so I can't really fault that. I can't really deny that. So I'm going to give him a 5, just because I just didn't think he was that good, and I hope Gabriel will be kind of more fit than he was on Saturday, so he can slot in there for David Luiz. Now moving on to Hector Bellerin. Now this is a difficult one because going forward I thought he was okay, but defensively I didn't think he was that good. I just didn't see that same kind of Bellerin that we saw at the start of the season, where I don't know, I think he's just gone backwards, since the start of the season. And he left Stuart, was it Stuart Armstrong? Yeah, Stuart Armstrong just so open at times and just let him run into the box. That's inexcusable, I suppose, at this level. So for that I give him maybe a 6.5. Because again, as I said, didn't do anything specifically wrong, but I just thought at times he could have done a lot more defensively. Then moving on to Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey, I think, is going to go down as one of our best signings ever. I think this lad he looks so comfortable on the ball. Some of his close control, it looks like prime Barcelona stuff. And what I like about Partey is that he passes forward instead of, always looking back. He looks forward first. This is terrible hand movements, but as I say, he goes forward and he always passes forward, and I think that's just a fantastic trait that Arsenal have been missing really in that midfield for a while. So for that, I give him a 7. He did lose the ball maybe once or twice, but he did try and fight it back. But overall, it was a solid performance again from Thomas Partey, so we're going to give him a 7. Now moving on to his midfield partner, Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka, another very good performance. He's been very consistent this season, Granit Xhaka, I have to say, apart from maybe a couple of blips in between. But overall, he's been a very good player this season for us. And same really as Partey, made a few forward passes and had a couple of pass to assists, I'm going to call it, just because his pass led to an assist, which obviously led to a goal. And I thought he was pretty good. And I'm very confident now with that Partey-Xhaka sort of partnership that they have going. And look, at long may it continue. And for that reason, I'm going to give Granit Xhaka a 7. Now moving on to the attacking side of the pitch, we're going to start with Bukayo Saka on the right. And as I said, he didn't put many 2 feet wrong. He did give the ball away a couple of times. He actually ended up getting the man of the match as well. But a goal and assist, and just continuing to improve. He actually has more goals now than any teenager in the Premier League combined. Now Phil Foden is 20, so just about cutting the edge there. But he's a spectacular player. He's the future of Arsenal, and I'm going to give him a 9 because he was just spectacular again going forward. Emile Smith-Rowe is the same. I'm going to give him an 8 because really it's the same really as Saka. Sorry, just very solid. Making some lovely passes, making some lovely moves happen, and creating a lot of chances. The only player to create more chances than Emile Smith-Rowe, in fact, in the Premier League since he broke into the team is Bruno Fernandes, and to be included in that with that mountain of a man, really, it's quite the honour really for the young lad, and so fair play to him. So I'm going to give him an 8. On to Pepe. This was arguably one of his best performances for Arsenal. Someone must have told him it was a Europa League game. I'm joking. But yeah, he was solid again, and as I said, got a goal and was overall quite good. So I'm going to give him an 8 now. And then finally to Alex Lacazette. Again, as I said, 2 assists and a goal. He's a playmaker. He's a poacher. He can do whatever you want. He's just a complete striker, and I think he's been absolutely fantastic this season, and long may it continue. So for that, he gets an 8. And we did make 3 subs. We brought on Willian for Emile Smith-Rowe, we brought on Joe Willock for Pepe, and we brought on Mohamed El-Neni, for Thomas Partey. It was late in the game. They didn't really make an impact. They're all going to get a 6 just because they didn't do anything wrong, but they didn't do anything right. So, basic enough 6. And now we move on to some news and some predictions, I suppose, for the futures of Matteo Guendouzi and Lucas Torreira, who are currently out on loan at Hertha Berlin and Atletico Madrid, respectively, and just my general thoughts ahead of the Manchester United game as well. So we'll get into that now. So on to the news now about our loanees. I'll start with Matteo Guendouzi, who's currently on loan at Hertha Berlin. He's been having a solid enough season, but rumours has it that he still has the bad attitude that he left Arsenal with, and He had a falling out with the manager as well, who's actually been sacked as in the last couple of days as well. So in terms of whether I want him back, probably not, to be honest. I mean, we have some fantastic midfielders now, and not that I'm saying he wouldn't be useful, but if he still has that same bad attitude, Mikel Arteta won't want him at the club. So even if he does come back and Hertha Berlin don't want him, we're still probably going to try and get rid of him in the summer. So good riddance, I suppose, you know. And moving on to Lucas Torreira, who's currently at Atletico Madrid. He's having a brilliant season over there. Atletico Madrid are top of the table, and so I would expect that Atletico Madrid will try and buy him. But if he does come back, I think Torreira will have to be ready to be kind of down the pecking order, I suppose, in midfielders. What would you know? Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard, who's back in now as well, Elneny, you know, and Willock as well. You know, just, you know, all those 5 players have really kind of established themselves as, you know, reliable players for Arteta. And rumour has it Arteta actually doesn't want him back, but this coaching staff do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months regarding that. And finally, just some thoughts on the Manchester United game. If you'd like me to talk more about this game, leave a like down below. If this video gets 5 likes, I know that sounds pretty pathetic, but if this video gets 5 likes, I'll do a quick kind of preview towards the Man United game, and it's a very important game at that as well. Now I'll say this: Man United are top of the well, they're not top of the table now, but they probably will be top of the table by the time this comes out. They're facing Sheffield United tonight at home, and you know, it's an easy win for them, really. Let's be brutally honest. And they will return to the top of the table, and they're in fantastic form right now. And I just feel that Arsenal won't have enough this time. You know, we bet them 1-0 in their own backyard at the start of the season, which is kind of what kick-started really their season in a way. And it's tough. It's tough because we're in a brilliant run of form. We're actually unbeaten in the league since the beginning of December, which I find fantastic. Our last loss was to Everton against 2-1 in Goodison Park, and we actually have Everton coming up in a couple of weeks. But that's not the point. The point is, I think Arsenal will lose this one. I do unfortunately think that they'll play well, but I think just United have too much at the moment. They have too many players in form. You know, Harry Maguire is playing well. You know, all the back four are playing well. You know, Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. I just don't think Lacazette and Saka, even who isn't really that strong, just they won't be able to compete with these players, which is unfortunate. But I just think it's going to be the reality at the end of the day. So that's it. That's this weekly episode, I suppose, of just Arsenal news and transfer news and whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like in the video. Remember, 5 likes and I'll do a preview to the Manchester United match. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Leave a comment down below if any thoughts you have on this video, of any opinions that I've made, if I'm right or wrong. Please share this video with your Arsenal fan friends, just, you know, so I can spread the word. I do want to try and build a sort of Arsenal fan community here, and I think I'm doing that so far, so thank you very much for the support, and yeah, goodbye for now.